SRN News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities are surveying the damage from a powerful storm that swept across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio that killed at least 2 people. At a news conference in Cambridge City, which saw some of the worst flooding from recent storms, Indiana Governor Mike Braun says he's issuing a statewide emergency declaration.
It is one of the biggest weather events we've had in Indiana, mostly due to the number of counties that it's impacted. Up in the northwest, 99-mile-an-hour winds in Gary, Indiana, Lake County, Porter, and LaPorte. It dropped a lot of rain and wind on the way down, but this part of the state, 3 or 4 counties got definitely hit the worst when it comes to rain and flood damage.
Flash flooding remained a concern, particularly in areas that had already seen significant rain. President Trump's allies attempt to return his name to the Kennedy Center.
The hand-picked board of the Kennedy Center has voted to move forward with a 2-year closure to allow for renovation work called for by President Trump.
And we're going to have something that when it opens, it's going to be brand new, beautiful.
The board is also naming the plaza in front after Trump and putting his name back on the facade. The new inscription would read, "The John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, restored and renovated by President Donald Trump." It's not yet clear if that would run afoul of a May court order by a U.S. district judge who blocked the closure, informed and said Trump's name had been added illegally. Ohio Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who filed the lawsuit opposing the changes, called the latest development a transparent effort to circumvent the court's ruling. Jennifer King, Washington.
A good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 69 points. The Nasdaq rose 214 with the S&P 500 index advancing by 50 points. Oil near $81 a barrel. This is SRN News. Should kids be banned from social media? Correspondent Michael Harrington reports.
The Pew Research Center has been asking American adults, and 56% say yes, they would support a ban on social media for anyone under the age of 16. 21% oppose the ban. The rest of respondents can't make up their minds. The Pew poll also finds that strong support for keeping children off social media exists amongst men and women, young and old, parents and the childless, and both Republicans and Democrats. Michael Harrington reporting.
International Christian Concern is sounding the alarm about the plight of believers in Syria. The Muslim insurgent group that drove dictator Bashar Assad from power continues consolidating its grip on the country. ICC says concerns about religious restrictions have increased as the government has introduced policies influenced by conservative Islamic norms. Many Syrian Christians view these measures as warning signs. This is SRN News.
GetTheTea.com, discount code USA for 10% off your order.
If you don't want to hear real facts on social and political issues, then stop listening now. Otherwise, stay right here for real issues, real facts with real people.
His name is Joe.
Instead of fighting with these people, what I do is I throw stats at them. Let them go with it.
The Adventures of Joe.
But I've actually even got to the point now when somebody starts arguing with me, prove your facts. I go, now.
All right, what do you say, Joe? What do you say to that?
You didn't prove yours. Mine you can find at the CDC or on the FBI website. You need to do your own homework. Because when you spoon feed them, even when you do that, they tell you you're wrong, even though they have nothing to back it up with. Just like AOC, nothing.
I'm going to deal with topics and issues that will make you think. The lines are open. You can reach me at 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563.
It's the Joe Messina Show.
We are back at it again. Joe Messina, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Look, get involved, get engaged. You know the drill. Be part of the solution. You become part of the solution when you decide to pay attention. When you decide that you want the truth, you want the facts. Right? Come on. You want the truth, you want the facts, and you want them to get out there. That is really the best way to make it all happen. And I do so much appreciate the time that you're spending with us here. I can't stand it. On the air, texting and tweeting and just being involved, just being engaged. I know, I hear it all the time. You know, I stay on it because you don't. Let's just be honest about it, right? You guys, I love the fact that you want to, you want to see us win. You want to see the right thing happen, but you got to get off your butt and get out there. That's how you do it. I was looking at numbers in my area of the world, Los Angeles County, and you know, if you Republicans, if you conservatives would get up, actually go out there and vote, we could make a change. And if there is no change, if you don't, I don't care that you're not excited about candidates, you're not excited about certain, you got to go vote. It's the only way we're going to make a change. The only way. Again, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Federal Appeals Court today delivered a massive win for Trump in Alien Enemies Act case. Now, here's the thing, too. I'm doing it wrong also. I shouldn't say a massive win for Trump. It's not. It's a massive win for Americans. All right? And he shows you how off the lower courts are on a regular basis. Seriously. So a federal appeals court judge on Thursday, he delivered a huge win for President Trump in the key Alien Enemies Act lawsuit. The en banc panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal, a decision from the court's entire slate of judges, ruled that the key lawsuit is moot because the three men who brought the case have been deported. Supreme Court remanded this case to us when the three named petitioners were still in the country. We have since learned that the government has removed them. Giving this change, we conclude that the appeal is moot, the judges wrote. Given the lack of any named petitioners to whom we could grant relief, and given that this case has never and does not now feature any case, we conclude that the appeal is moot, and therefore we dismiss the appeal for lack of jurisdiction. Judge James Ho, a Trump appointee, he wrote, some of these guys are all over this, right? I think they're trying to do the right thing. Judge James Ho, a Trump appointee, wrote a blistering concurring opinion. He backed President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act. President Trump last year invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport dangerous Venezuelan gang members. Right? Now, although several district court judges, they've ruled against President Trump's decision to invoke, I don't know why they have a right to do that, the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan aliens. A federal judge in Pennsylvania became the first to say Trump can invoke the AEA. Right? Last year, the U.S. Supreme Court temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deporting dangerous Venezuelan gang members. In an unsigned order, the High Court said that the Trump DOJ did not give the Venezuelans enough time to challenge their removals. Under these circumstances, notice roughly 24 hours before removal, devoid of information about how to exercise due process rights to contest that removal, surely doesn't pass muster. That was according to the unsigned order. Right? The Supreme Court, they punted the case back down to the Fifth Circuit. And last year, that three-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Court, they voted down Trump's invocation of the AEA. You know, it's kind of like, don't you love this? No, really, don't you just love this? That when you're trying to do that, you've got a president that is trying to follow the law, is trying to do the right thing. The lefty judges are stopping him from doing so. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. You got to fix these people. Right? You have to go. Not that you're going to get anywhere with it, whatever. I was going to say you have to go for impeachment, but I don't see that happening. You know, and again, Trump trying to clean up the mess that Gavin Newsom made. God forbid we don't want that to happen. A federal judge blocks the Trump administration's attempt to take control of LA's homeless programs. So the judge issued a scathing order Thursday blocking a gambit by the Trump administration to take control of a federally funded for homelessness program in Los Angeles County. Yeah, the reason he's trying to do it is because they're blowing the money. They can't account for it. In issuing a preliminary injunction, U.S. District Judge Dave O'Carter, he found that the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, they acted arbitrarily and capriciously when it suspended the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority from managing federal homelessness. Hey, they're blowing the money. They're just blowing the money. Not good, not right. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Back in a little bit, don't go far. Well, we're coming up with Evan Sayet joining us on his new book. I'm not telling you what it is. Got to come back to find out. We'll be back.
Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go to use it, it's not very absorbent? That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels. Towels that work. The 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and enter promo code USA, or call 800-951-8175. That's MyPillow.com, promo code USA.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. That's 800-471-7065.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that trying to name your bike.
How about the Crusher? I guess it's not really crushing anything. The Silver Bolt? No. Oh, what about Pepper? Mysterious. Is it a pet or a condiment? Surprise! It's a motorcycle. No, that's stupid.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 866-451-3328. 866-451-3328. That's 866-451-3328. Do you have have a story to tell? Bring your story to life with audiobooks. Great stories deserve great storytelling. Audiobook Network provides professional voice actors and full production services for every author's manuscript. From narration, production, and editing to distribution, promotion, and sales, Audiobook Network handles everything. If you have a print book, ebook, or even a manuscript, call Audiobook Network now and get our free audiobook guide. 800-734-1229. 800-734-1229.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-362-9337. 800-362-9337. That's 800-362-9337.
I married your mother because I wanted children. Imagine my disappointment when you arrived.
We are back at it again. Joe Messina, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Look, get involved, get engaged, be part of the solution. You know, I say it all the time, and you know how I mean it. I mean, you can't just sit there yelling at the TV set. You sound like my old Uncle Fred, or in my case, Uncle Vito, right? You're yelling at the TV set. You're not doing anything. You got to get out there and engage. You got to get out there and make a difference. It's truly the only way we're going to win. All right, I always love it when I have this guy on. Evan Sayet, over the past 2 decades, Mr. Sayet has lectured in the nation's leading think tanks. He's spoken in front of live audiences as large as 250,000 people. He appeared on CNN, MSNBC for news, C-SPAN, and other national and international news programs. He advised the United States Senator's presidential campaign, wrote speeches for President Trump, and even with all that, he's just a great guy. Always love having him on with me. Evan Sayet joins me as he does from time to time. Evan, thanks for being with me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Joe.
By the way, it took me 2 breaths to get all that out, but you deserve it.
No, you done good. We should have done that intro a long time ago because you didn't trip over the Heritage Foundation. You didn't.
I never know when to say it or not say it, you know?
Well, you can always say it. I didn't put it on the back of my book this time, which is where you got that particular intro from, is the back of my...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But intentionally, I did not mention Heritage Foundation. Instead, I said world's leading think tanks. I didn't mention Ted Cruz. I said advised a senator's presidential campaign. And you mentioned Trump, but I only said has written speeches for a president, because I knew if the back of my book said Ted Cruz, Heritage Foundation, and Donald Trump, nobody, any left of center, would even pick it up. And this book, look, at this point, there are people who are defecting from the left. You know, there are so many people who were never left-wing fanatics. They just really never gave it any thought at all. I mean, look, I grew up. I'm a New York City-born Jew in the entertainment industry. I voted Democrat, you know, until the 21st century. But I did that because I knew only one thing about politics. I knew that Democrats are good and Republicans are evil. Right? I mean, Democrats like peace, Republicans like war. Democrats like air, and Republicans hate the air. We pollute air, and we hate air and water. And so now is our moment when they are going so radical left. They're not even hiding it. They're not even denying it. Just 20 years ago or less than that, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Barack Obama still had to say fundamental change. He couldn't quite say revolution. Now, nobody's hiding the fact they want to overthrow this government. So if you hate America, you vote Democrat. If you want to preserve America, you vote Republican. Those are your only choices now.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad the way this has turned out. But this is not new, Evan. You know this already. They've been doing this for decades. They've been working up to this for decades. I think the only thing that caught some of the old-time Dems off guard is how quick this jump from being a liberal to being a lunatic. No, from being a liberal to being a Democrat socialist. Don't you?
Well, I can tell you the entire history if you're interested. I mean, this goes back this goes back to the 1960s with the radicals. We used to call them the 60s radicals, and they literally declared war against America. They literally, a woman named Bernadine Dorn, who was married to William Bill Ayers, who was the terrorist at the head of the Weather Underground in the 60s, took to the microphones in front of the press and said, "Hi, I'm Bernadine Dorn, and I'm going to read to you a declaration of war." And they committed acts of war. They murdered people. They bombed buildings. A lot of people are either too young to remember or to have known, or just simply don't really remember. But in the 60s and early 70s, they were bombing. They were murdering people. Yep. What happened was they wanted a revolution, but they couldn't get anybody to join their revolution. Because as real as some of the wrongs were, the Jim Crow and segregation, even those who were wronged knew they had it better in America than anywhere else in the world. All right, millions of people had lived in Europe and had fled Europe and knew the horrors. Others had gone to war over there and come home and seen the horrors. And so they couldn't get anybody to join their revolution. So they went underground. They went on what's called a long march through the institutions. And they slowly took over academia. They slowly took over the entertainment industry. They slowly took over Democratic Party politics. And there was one of these terrorists. His name was Mark Rudd. And he said the true flowering of the 60s will come in the 90s when we've taken over the institutions. Well, Joe, he was only wrong because he missed the obvious. Once they've taken over the institutions, they then need to use them to brainwash the next generation.
Yep.
So if it's 30 years from the 60s to the 90s, what's 30 years from the 90s?
You're going to make me do math? Now. It's now.
It's now. This is simply the plan they've had all along coming to fruition.
I agree. I totally agree with you. One of the things I do on the show on a regular basis, even though I'm part of that particular system, is I blame everything on the education system. And even Hitler knew that if he got the youth, he had the country. Well, here, you get the youth because you got them locked up 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it's not that hard to do when you're given that kind of access, right?
Yeah, and it's not just that Hillary knew and all the other Hitler youth. Lenin had I forget what they were called. But he also had the young. That's what you do, is you go after the young for yep. two reasons. One is you're starting with a blank slate. They don't know anything but what you teach them. Mm-hmm. It was much harder to turn people who had lived a life. That's why they couldn't turn people to join their revolution in the 60s. I tell a story in one of my books about the boxer Muhammad Ali, all right? And he'd gone over to Africa, and he decided instead of training in America, he was going to set up a training camp in Africa and spend a month there. Get to know, and help the local population. And,
right.
And when he got back from Africa, now remember, this is a black man from the Jim Crow South.
Yep.
At this point, he had already converted to Islam. So he's a black Muslim man from the Jim Crow South. And when he got back from Africa, the reporter said to him, "Hey, what'd you think of Africa? What'd you think of the land, the continent of your ancestors?" And Muhammad Ali said, quote, "Thank God my granddaddy got on that boat."
Oh my!
So there were people who even in the worst. Yep.
We got to go for commercial, and we can have some fun with that. We'll be back in a few minutes. People, don't go far. Evan Sayet still be with us. We'll be right back.
Attention homeowners. It's not if something's going to break, it's when. That's homeownership. If your dryer, your refrigerator, or your AC and heating breaks, that's an expensive call. And who do you call? Make it easy on yourself and call Choice Home Warranty. We've already done the research and have access to 25,000 technicians that can be at your home quickly. We've covered close to 2 million homes in the United States. There's a good chance your neighbors work with us. Call us right now before the next breakdown. We'll tell you everything that's covered in your home and give you the first month free with our ironclad 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and learn how to get your free month.
800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. That's 800-378-2250.
Limitations and exclusions apply. First month free with purchase of single plan. Visit choicehomewarranty.com for more details.
Life is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. But here's one thing you can control: making sure your loved ones are protected if the unexpected happens. At easyplans.com, we make getting life insurance, well, easy. In just a few minutes, you can apply online and buy direct. No awkward phone calls, no confusing jargon, and no agent will contact you unless you request help. Just clear, affordable coverage, designed to fit your life and your budget. Fast approval, flexible plans, and unlike other online insurance sites, Easy Plans won't.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities are surveying the damage from a powerful storm that swept across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio that killed at least 2 people. At a news conference in Cambridge City, which saw some of the worst flooding from recent storms, Indiana Governor Mike Braun says he's issuing a statewide emergency declaration.
It is one of the biggest weather events we've had in Indiana, mostly due to the number of counties that it's impacted. Up in the northwest, 99-mile-an-hour winds in Gary, Indiana, Lake County, Porter, and LaPorte. It dropped a lot of rain and wind on the way down, but this part of the state, 3 or 4 counties got definitely hit the worst when it comes to rain and flood damage.
Flash flooding remained a concern, particularly in areas that had already seen significant rain. President Trump's allies attempt to return his name to the Kennedy Center.
The hand-picked board of the Kennedy Center has voted to move forward with a 2-year closure to allow for renovation work called for by President Trump.
And we're going to have something that when it opens, it's going to be brand new, beautiful.
The board is also naming the plaza in front after Trump and putting his name back on the facade. The new inscription would read, "The John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, restored and renovated by President Donald Trump." It's not yet clear if that would run afoul of a May court order by a U.S. district judge who blocked the closure, informed and said Trump's name had been added illegally. Ohio Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who filed the lawsuit opposing the changes, called the latest development a transparent effort to circumvent the court's ruling. Jennifer King, Washington.
A good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 69 points. The Nasdaq rose 214 with the S&P 500 index advancing by 50 points. Oil near $81 a barrel. This is SRN News. Should kids be banned from social media? Correspondent Michael Harrington reports.
The Pew Research Center has been asking American adults, and 56% say yes, they would support a ban on social media for anyone under the age of 16. 21% oppose the ban. The rest of respondents can't make up their minds. The Pew poll also finds that strong support for keeping children off social media exists amongst men.
25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL24.
Austin Powers always defeats me because he has Joe. Joe? Joe. The life force, the essence, the right stuff. What the French call a certain, I don't know what.
We're back at it again. Joe Steve, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE. 855-732-5563. Look, get involved, get engaged, be part of this. And I say that, look, I know some of you go, oh, he says that all the time. I say it all the time because you're not doing it. It's obvious. I'm looking at where the voting is going. I'm looking at the fact that many of you, for some godforsaken reason, you won't come out and vote if Trump's not on the ballot. You won't come out and vote because you don't feel like you have the right candidates. And look what it's getting you. Is it helping you? I don't think so. Evan Sayet joins me, as he does from time to time. I do love having him on with me. We were just talking about when we all had solid black hair, a while back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, but a lot of people don't realize this, but for about 20 years, I would say starting, just to give it a starting point, starting around just after 9/11, 2001, until, let's say, the first Trump administration. So 15 years, 2001 to 2016, Los Angeles was the intellectual hub of a brand new conservative movement. All right, it was a new. It was no longer the William F. Buckleys. It was no longer the National Reviews and the town halls. Suddenly, it was Andrew Breitbart, and then Breitbart as the individual, and then Breitbart as the organization. And there was Prager, and then PragerU, and Ben Shapiro, and then the Daily Wire, and PJ Media, and the American Freedom Alliance, and FOA, Friends of Abe, and I know I'm forgetting, David Horowitz and the Freedom Center.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, and you and me and Bill Whittle and Andrew Clavin and all of these people were started this new media savvy, Hollywood centric movement that was different than the intellectuals of the East Coast, Washington D.C., who were hugely important and hugely smart. But there was this new movement that we started. And for about 15 years, the intellectual hub of this conservative movement was Los Angeles, California.
Yeah. Yep, you're exactly right. I remember every one of those names and a few more, to your point.
And we all worked together, and we all went to each other's events, and we were all supportive of each other. And it was important, very, very important. But it was also fun.
Yes, I'll give you that. It was fun. We agreed on most things. We even the stuff we didn't agree on, we still had some fun with each other. We met up once a year as a larger group there in D.C. and
at CPAC.
I miss that.
Yep. Right. There was once a year at CPAC, and that was the national convention. You know how they have a national plumbers convention and all the plumbers go in that national car show. That was the national convention for what we were doing at the time.
Yep.
Now there are so many others that CPAC you still go, but it's not the same. It's not what it was.
But I got to tell you, one of the funniest stories that a doorman. I mean, for some of you who don't travel that much, you know the doormen out there look like the guy you see on TV in the movies all the time. They were great people too. The one fellow, while I was waiting for a cab, I said, "So how's it going?" He goes, "You know what? We love when you guys are in town. You tip well, you're polite, you're always good to us, and what have you." He said, "We can always tell when there's a Democrat convention coming in town because this place gets flooded with hookers." And that's when I started laughing. I said, "Come on, dude, seriously?" He goes, No, really. So they have no money to tip us with because they're giving it all to the hookers. So it's always great when you guys are around.
I love the joke Ronald Reagan used to tell about this boy who was standing outside the Democrat convention selling Democrat puppies, $5. Democrat puppies for $5. And then about 2 weeks later, the Republican convention came to town, and the same kid was there selling the same puppies. And he was saying, "Buy yourself a Republican puppy." And Reagan said he walked over and said, "Kid, last week you said they were Democrat puppies. Now you're saying they were Republican puppies. What's going on? He said, well, now they've got their eyes open.
he had great jokes to open up with, to lighten the room up with, didn't he? You know.
Yep, and that's another thing we had in Southern California was the Reagan Library, which is so spectacular.
Yep. All right, listen, let's touch on this quickly because I want to spend some time on your book too. You were talking about how we got along back then. We really knew that we had a cause. And it didn't matter. Reagan used to say that you can get a lot accomplished if you don't care who gets credit for it. So we were trying to hold each other up. Go ahead.
And he also said that if you disagree with somebody 20% of the time, that means you agree with them 80% of the time.
Right.
And we didn't have this attitude of being absolute purists. We had a war to win.
Right, and we weren't nipping at each other's heels all the time. And the big eye opener recently was when Charlie Kirk died. You saw people or got killed. You saw our own people nipping at each other's heels, thinking they were going to fill that void or they're going to be the next one or whatever. It's like, aren't we all on the same team? We're all on the same ship. Aren't we all trying to work towards the same thing?
I'll tell you what I believe has happened since then is that the MAGA movement was never a unified movement. We never had the same ideology. We all just recognized that wokeism had to be defeated. All right, so we all were under this one big tent, not because we all shared an ideology. We just all shared a common enemy. We all recognized wokeism had to be defeated. Well, a couple of things happened since then. One, the leader of the MAGA movement is now technically a lame duck. He can't run again. The spiritual leader of the MAGA movement, Charlie Kirk, was killed. All right, and so this movement that was never unified, we had all the way from the far right to disaffected Democrats and everything in between. And by the way, wokeism is now on its heels. Now every time there was a time when a comedian would not make a joke that wasn't absolutely PC isn't even strong enough a word for it. Now every comic is making fun of wokeism, every single one.
God bless.
DEI has been weakened, and so now we're splitting up into who we actually always were, which is a very, very, very fractious, very different ideologies that we all want to make America great again. Mm-hmm. But how does one go about that is very different if you're a libertarian, if you're an old school conservative, if you're a centrist Republican. I hate the term rhino because we are not the conservative party. We're the Republican Party.
That's right.
And they're not Republicans in name only. They just simply aren't right-wing. Like I'm actually not a right-wing fanatic. I'm an anti-left-wing fanatic. But the idea, I love what William Buckley said. You support the most conservative candidate who can win. So if you're going to hold somebody in Massachusetts and go, Mitt Romney, when he was governor of Massachusetts, did this or that, well, because you can't win in Massachusetts if you don't.
Yes.
And if you don't win, all you are is a loser.
That's true. And you can't get done what you want to get done. I do advocate, though. I've had a lot of people tell me that in my own candidacy, and I always say the same thing. I won't give up on my principles, but I don't lead with my fist in the air going, that we should never see abortion again. That doesn't work. And that's what some of those right-wing lunatics want you to do, Yeah,
it doesn't work. And again, if what you're doing doesn't work, you might feel good about it, but you haven't even accomplished 1/5 of what you want. The other side is willing to take their wins and then know that they're going to keep pushing. Okay, win gay marriage. Okay, you won gay marriage. Then you go for transgender. All right? They know to do it incrementally. We don't. We are such purists
They're good at
that we
this.
shoot ourselves in the foot.
All right, we got to go for another break. I'll let you pick up on that when we come back. And Evan Sayet will still be with me. We'll be right back.
Omaha Steaks is rewriting the book on burgers with an all-new handmade texture for the juiciest home-style burgers you've ever tasted. Their pure ground burgers are made from single cuts of real aged Omaha steaks. These are truly steaks on a bun. Filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get an extra $20 off your order plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for a juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use promo code TREAT at checkout and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. Minimum order may be required.
Right now, you can eliminate odors, mold, mildew, bacteria, and viruses in your home with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules that seek out and destroy odors. The Thunderstorm doesn't mask or cover up bad smells, it eliminates them, leaving that fresh, clean smell, just like after a thunderstorm. The Thunderstorm is small, plugs right into the wall, and fits in the palm of your hand. Put one in your basement, bedroom, family room, kitchen, or anywhere you want clean, fresh air. It even includes a USB cord for your car or truck. Right now, save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. That's 3 units for under $200, a fraction of the cost compared to other air purifiers. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use discount code USA3 to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. Use USA and the number 3. Shipping is free.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-399-4215. 800-399-4215. 800-399-4215. That's 800-399-4215. You've been working hard, doing the right thing and paying your taxes and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you, and in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now. 800-778-8214. 800-778-8214. That's 800-778-8214.
Can't you see what I'm trying to tell you? I love you. Why don't you marry me?
Why, marry you?
You take me and I'll take a vacation. I'll need a vacation if we're going to get married.
We are back at it again. Joe Messina, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. always a pleasure. You never talk over ZZ Talk, you know? Especially when they're singing She's Got Legs. Of course she's got legs. I mean, if she didn't have legs, I don't think men would look. I don't know what to tell you. And Evan Sayet joins us. Always appreciate his time. I love this guy. I mean, not Hollywood love, you know? Kissy, have your people call my people? Yeah, not that crap. No, I think he's a genuine guy. I love him. He's always been good. In our environment, you have some people that just care about you because you have a show or something like that, but Evan truly cares about people, and I consider him a real friend. So, Evan, thanks for being with me tonight.
Love you too, Joe.
All right. So, your new book. I told you if I saw the title in the store, whether I knew you or not, I'd walk by and go, oh, I want to see what this is about. The book's called The Idea That's Destroying America. Amazing, you got it down to the idea instead of allowing us to go all over the place and come up with 27 different things. But, you know, the real thing destroying America is what?
Well, look, in any war, and this is, we've long called it the culture war, and it is a war for civilization. There are multiple allies who have their own. You know, we fought with the Soviets, well, they weren't the Soviets yet, the Russians, in order to defeat Hitler. And so this book is not about the Marxists, and this book is not about the Islamicists. This book is about the good, smart, decent, loving, caring, generous people that we all know who for some reason ignore fact and reason. And because they do, they side always with evil, failure, and wrong. And one of the manifestations of this is that these people, I'm not talking about the misery they cause us, they are miserable. There are people across America, and these are the ones really, they are the ones siding with socialism on the left, and they are also the woke right. The people on the far right, the Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlsons and the people, and they are absolutely miserable human beings. And I trace this back starting in the 1960s when the idea became love everybody and love everything. You know, it was and people wore their love beads to the love-in during the summer of love. And the problem is that if you can love everybody and everything, then love doesn't exist. Love has no meaning. Love has no value. And so these people don't love other people. They certainly don't love us. They don't love God. They don't love America. They don't love great art. They don't love great literature. They don't love anything. And everything became fungible. Nothing was special. And because of that, their lives are miserable. They don't seek out what is good, right, beautiful, and true. And because of that, and if you go to John Lennon's song, Imagine, all right? Imagine no country. So you don't love your country. You don't love God. There's nothing to kill or die for. There's nothing, and in a world where there's nothing to kill or die for, it's also a world with nothing to live for. And the only thing that they live for is to destroy what is. Because if they can destroy everything that is, we can return to a time when you didn't have to think. They want to return to the Garden of Eden. They want, in fact, my first book was called The Kindergarten of Eden.
Yep.
So this is kind of the capstone. This is the not intentional or not planned, but nonetheless, the third book in this trilogy. There was The Kindergarten of Eden, there was The Woke Supremacy, and now the culmination, and I believe my masterpiece, and I don't think I've ever said that on your show about any of my things. I tell you how great I am, but this is even greater.
No, listen, your books, overall, your books are great. They're very informative, and people, and I've told you this, people I've given your books to, they just love them. And
look, I have an expression. I say I'm extremely well known by anyone who knows who I am. And what I mean by that is that the people who know my work swear by it. My problem has always been that not enough people know my work, and because look, Ben Shapiro has a daily radio show. Charlie Kirk was out there all the time. I'm a little too eclectic in my career. Sometimes I'm a stand-up comedian. Sometimes I'm an advisor to United States senators. Sometimes I'm writing speeches for presidents. And sometimes I write a book. And that's a double-edged sword. And by the way, that was true of my previous career when I was in the entertainment industry. I was a stand-up comedian, but I was also a television writer, but I was also a screenwriter, and I was also a documentarian. And it's a double-edged sword because it meant that I could write in any format that I felt like. If I had an idea and it wasn't, well, let me put it this way. If you're Ken Burns, the documentarian, your next idea has to be a documentary. If it's not, you're not going to do it. All right, if you're William Goldman, your next idea better be a screenplay because he's a screenwriter. And if my next idea is something smaller, I can write a comedy sketch. I can write a one-line stand-up joke. So I could write in any format that my ideas led me to. The problem is, you know the name Ken Burns because he's a documentarian. You know the name William Goldman because he was the screenwriter. And so the eclectic nature of my career has been a double-edged sword. I could work for a million different people like Donald Trump, Ted Cruz. I could write books. I could write articles. I could deliver speeches. But you don't get to be known as any one thing.
Right. I'm just going over, not your whole career, obviously, but I'm just going over even the 20 years, almost 20 years that you and I have known each other and the different things that you've done and the places you've been. And it's just, and you're right. I mean, people that didn't know you or don't know you that I took to certain events, they when they leave, they're like, that guy's great. And I'm not just saying that, people. I mean, truly, I had a lefty come with me to that event you did at the theater in L.A. And when we left that night, I brought him to torture him, but that's beside the point. When we left, he was like, my God, that guy made so much sense. I never really thought of it that way. And
it's so funny. When I
wanted him to be mad all the way home, but go ahead.
When I brought my show to Washington, my stand-up show to Washington, and my sister was in the audience, and she was still on the political left at that point. And another person who didn't give it much thought, just knew Democrats are good, Republicans are evil, and so she voted Democrat. And I could see her in the audience, beaming with pride, while shaking her head no at everything I said. But here's how I know, and you're gonna have to forgive me. If I were a car salesman, I could brag about my product, the car, and tell you how great it is, and nobody would give it a second thought. But because my product is me, if I then brag about my product, I sound, conceited or whatever. But here's how I know. I don't speak a lot at think tanks. I speak periodically. I'm not on board. I'm not being paid by any think tank. So I've probably spoken to the Heritage Foundation 5 or 6 times. My lecture to the Heritage Foundation is the single most viewed lecture in their entire history. I don't write a lot of articles. I write periodically. Maybe I've had 10 or 15 or 20 over 20 years. My article, He Fights, is the single most shared article in Town Hall's history. So when I do, I don't write for a lot of political candidates, but I write for Donald Trump. So it's not like I haven't had extremely great feedback. It's just I'm not out there enough. I'm doing too many other things.
Hey, listen, the man himself, Rush Limbaugh, gave you great accolades over your speech, and it's just the problem is, and not for you, the problem is the days where people really want that deep thought, really want to understand all this. You've got to dumb it down to a 6th grade level almost. So
well, it depends. I mean, one of my skills when I first got into this, and I said, okay, how am I going to contribute to the culture war? How am I going? I recognized we tended to have 2 kinds of people. We had those who threw out the red meat, nothing very deep at all, but lots of rah-rah like Sean Hannity or Ann Coulter. Yep. And then we had our intellectuals who were brilliant, but nobody could understand them. And so what I was able to do, and the reason my work resonates with people, is I've been able to take the intellectual and make it accessible. Yes. And that has been my niche, and that has been my calling card, and that's why leading politicians hire me to write their speech, and advise their campaign.
The unintellectual is going to cut you off in a minute because that's what the satellite's going to do. Where do people people find you? EvanSayet.com. That's Sayet, Sayet. I'll put it up on the website. Love you, man.
Look for my book. Love you too. I've loved you too. Okay, you got to go. Right. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Joe Messina, your host. God bless guy. He's a wonderful guy. Look him up online. He's got so much going on, so much to teach you. I'll be back with you just a little bit. Don't go far.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Ryan Routh, found guilty of trying to assassinate Donald Trump at his Florida golf course in 2024, has been sentenced to life in prison.
Judge Aileen Cannon pronounced his fate in the same Fort Pierce, Florida courtroom where jurors found him guilty last September of trying to assassinate a major presidential candidate and other charges. Prosecutors said Ruth spent weeks plotting to kill Trump before aiming a rifle through shrubbery as the candidate played golf at his West Palm Beach country club. He was spotted by a Secret Service agent before Trump came into view. Jennifer King.
President Trump's border czar has announced a big reduction of federal immigration aid